evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our final concert for the 2025 season. My name is Jim Daub, and it is my pleasure to be your narrator this evening. Would you please join me in welcoming our director, Mr. Mitch Martin. Stand as you are able and join us in singing our national anthem.
Oh, I thought these came together. There's one right
is Belle of Indiana, written by Charles Sanglier, who is rated as one of the best circus band euphorium players. He toured with various circus bands including the John Robinson Circus and the Carl Hagenbach Show, but he died at age 34 of tuberculosis. Of this next selection, the arranger Frank Kelly wrote, quote, "I was inspired by the freedom and beauty of the folk melody and by the natural images evoked by the words, especially the image of a river. I was less concerned of the sound of a rolling river than with its life-affirming energy, its timelessness. Flowing like the river, we know you'll enjoy Kelly's arrangement of Shenandoah."
Got it, Elijah? And I don't do it.
The emergence of ragtime coincided with the great era of circus bands. Carl King wrote this ragtime two-step in 1919 to accompany the clown act of Baker and Dizelle, who would walk around the performance area dressed as two enormous frogs. Its infectious charm soon made it a favorite with many other circus acts. Picture the Baker and Dizelle clown act as you hear the walking frog. Argentine composer Astor Piazzolla added a new dimension to the traditional tango with this distinctive composition. It is included on the 1989 album The Rough Dancer and the Cyclical Night, and featured by the Intar Hispanic Arts Center stage production Tango Apasionado. I am not a Spanish speaker, sorry. And this traces the tango's development from its Buenos Aires roots to modern times. Beautifully adapted for band by Robert Longfield, here is the delightful Street Tango.
Is that better? Worse volume-wise? Can you hear him okay? Yes, no? Over here? Can you hear him okay? Thank you.
You can be louder. Turn up my hearing aid.
Two musicians were walking into a bar. Oh. That never happens. How about now?
Very
Okay?
good.
We'll continue to work on this. It's a rental from the music store.
of four American folk rhapsodies, this superb work, originally written in 1948, is a wonderful example of both band literature and the exceptional writing and arranging skills of Claire Grundman, including On Top of Old Smoky, Sourwood Mountain, and Sweet Betsy from Pike. American Folk Rhapsody is an outstanding work for band that you're sure to enjoy. And now we have a few words from our band president, Mr. Wade Fuller.
Man, isn't this a glorious day to be out in the sun and in God's great creation? We didn't know about the rain a few days ago, but man, what a day. So, number one, thank every one of y'all for being here. I always say it's not a concert without an audience. Thank you. We want to recognize a few individuals here this afternoon. Number one, I want to thank Director Chris Elby and the administration of New Bern High School and the Craven County Board of Education for allowing us to use the New Bern High School band room and their percussion equipment and chairs and stands for rehearsal all year. They loaned us their trailer to bring the stuff down today. Most of the percussion section behind me belongs to them. All the stands, all the chairs basically are theirs. So we couldn't do this without them. So thank you, Chris Elbing and New Bern High School. So this is our final concert of the season. We'll see you back in the fall when we reconvene after the summer break. We can't rehearse when school's not open. So that kind of dictates our schedule. I got one other individual that's real special in my heart that we're going to recognize here tonight. I've been with this band since its inception, which was back, our first rehearsal was in February of 2001. Planning started in 2000. And I'd never laid eyes on this individual to that first rehearsal that February in 2001. His name is Mr. Bill Jarvis. And Bill, I want you to stand up, sir. Bill has played in this band every year since that time, and he has been a supremely dedicated part of this band. When it first got started, one guy, it was his dream to start a community band in this area. And he did everything. He chose the music, he did the programs, he did the PR work, he paid the bills, he arranged rehearsals, all of that. And after about 5 years, it about killed his marriage. His wife said, well, it's either me or the band, you choose. He said, I'm staying home. So he resigned, and there was a core group of us in the band said, this is a great thing. And Bill started in that first rehearsal, made just about every rehearsal for the last 25 years until just recently when health reasons and other reasons have just brought him to the point he's made a decision, rightfully so, to call it quits, or retire. He's not calling it quits, he's still playing. But he was a flute player. Bill is from England. He came to this country with a job with Wilkerson Sword. Remember the razor blade company from way back? It's kind of an engineer of types and other things, business related. But when we decided we're going to do this as volunteers. Bill immediately said, I'll do the treasury. I'll be the bookkeeper. I'll pay the bills. And he has done that just spot on for all these 20 plus years. So Bill is dependable. They're a great couple. His wife, Owen, I've been knowing as well in another group I'm very active in. But when you come to our concerts in Grover, it's Owen Jarvis, his wife, and a couple other lady volunteers out there welcoming you to the auditorium, giving you a program, making sure you're taken care of. So she's been right by the band side this whole year. So it's not only Bill, Owen, it's you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Wade. Showcasing the life story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, the hit musical Jersey. Oh wait, not there yet. Oh, how about this one? You want to do this one instead? That one. That one? Yeah, let's do that one instead. All right, so we're going to do this one instead. So, ready for the local connection in our next selection? The arranger James Swearingen was taught arranging at Bowling Green State University by Lou Marini. Now, if Lou Marini sounds familiar, you might know his son, Lou Marini Jr., a sax player that you might remember from the movie The Blues Brothers. When Lou Sr. retired, he moved to Pamlico County as his wife was from here. He also played with the Craven Community Concert Band. Here, in arrangements by Swearingen, are Carl King's Alamo March and Gallant Marines. In 1713, Virginia planter John Shackelford acquired several large tracts of land in Bath County, North Carolina. Among these was a grant of 7,000 acres known as sea banks on early maps. When Shackelford first acquired his tract, it was known as Carteret Island, most likely named after Carteret County. As you probably guessed, I'm talking about Shackelford Banks. Until a hurricane in 1933 opened Barden Inlet, Shackelford Banks was connected to Core Banks. Composer J. Bocock has captured the essence of the banks in the appropriately named Shackelford Banks. Our next selection is from one of the most popular musicals ever written. As composer, lyricist, and librettist, Meredith Willson began working on the show in 1951. After 38 rewrites, it was finally produced in 1957, starring Robert Preston and Barbara Cook. During a Broadway run of 1,375 performances, it grossed over $10 million, won 5 Tony Awards, 3 New York Critics Circle Awards, and a Grammy, and was made into a 1962 Warner Brothers film starring Preston and Shirley Jones. Hum along to the tunes that you know from this comedy of small-town life in River City, Iowa, highlights from The Music Man. set in early 19th century France. This musical is a story of Jean Valjean, a French peasant, and his quest for redemption after spending time in jail for stealing a loaf of bread for his sister's starving child. Valjean decides to break his parole and start his life anew, but he is relentlessly tracked down by a police inspector named Javert. Along the way, Valjean and a slew of characters are swept into a revolutionary period in France, where a group of young idealists make their last stand at a street barricade. This arrangement by Johnny Vincent includes I Dreamed a Dream, Do You Hear the People Sing, and On My Own. We hope you enjoy the highlights from Les Miserables. few words from our band director, Mr. Mitch Martin.
Two musicians walk into a bar. I'm just kidding. It's possible, you know. Good evening again, everybody. Y'all are fantastic. Give yourselves a round of applause out there. I'm going to be a little biased, but this band is smoking tonight. Well, Wade kind of thought we were going to do something different the second part when I get to talk. So I want to take a minute to thank my librarian. That's her name, librarian. That's her God-given name at birth. Well, it's not really, but her name is Ann, and she took over as our librarian. This is her kind of end of our first full season here, and she's really kept me in check as she's learning the ropes, and she's been phenomenal. Ann, please stand. She makes really good cookies too. And that's not why I'm saying what I'm saying. She's really kept me straight, kept the music going when I've had some really weird requests, and I really appreciate that. But again, this concert doesn't go if y'all ain't here. See, if we can have really quick, well, at your own pace, any other members of our band that are in the audience tonight, please stand up and be recognized. There you go. It's okay. It's okay. I've been doing this band thing, Wade told me, for about 10 years. This has been, I had a band, my first season was in 2009, and I did it for a season, and I took off because of the needs of the Marine Corps, sent me somewhere else, but 2015 or so, I took it back, so it's been about 10 years. And I'm humbled, always humbled. I tell them that every year. I'm humbled. It's a privilege to be up here, and it's totally true. And I'm having a good time up here. I don't know if you can tell. I mean, you can see just the backside of me. And that's some really cool footwork going about, but y'all didn't see it. You see, y'all saw it, right? Anyway, I'll shut up now. We're going to continue on with the show. Again, thank you all so much for coming tonight, and we're going to finish this out.
Thank you very much, Mitch. Now, we finally get to the part I have been waiting for all night, showcasing the life of Frankie Valli in the fourth season. The hit musical Jersey Boys is a nostalgic look at some of the most popular songs of the 1960s. This medley includes memorable songs such as Big Girls Don't Cry, Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, and Walk Like a Man. An arrangement by Michael Brown. Sing along with the highlights from Jersey Boys. Catherine Lee Bates wrote a poem describing her cross-country journey in 1893. The poem captured the attention of people and the beauty found in America. Set to the tune Materna by Samuel Augusta Ward and arranged by James Swearingen, here is America the Beautiful, His Grace on Thee. As we do at our May concert every year, and as it is the weekend before Memorial Day, we'd like to salute our military folks past and present. If you have served, are serving, or know someone who is or has served, please stand when their service song is announced. United States Marine Corps. States Air Force. With the possible exception of the Star-Spangled Banner, no composition has done more to stir the patriotic spirit than Sousa's March. It has been used to generate patriotic feeling ever since its introduction in Philadelphia on May 14, 1897. Of this march, the Philadelphia Public Ledger reported, quote, "It is stirring enough to rouse the American eagle from his crave. Tap your toes and clap your hands to Sousa's The Stars and Stripes Forever."
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Have a great rest of your evening and a great ride home.